The word universal comes from the Greek word oinos and the Latin word unus. It means one, okay?
Mhm.
So universal means all in one. It's a concept of singularity, and it's by definition exclusionary because there's only one, and that one pertains to all, and there's nothing beyond the all. On the other hand, the word common comes from the Latin communis, which means shared by all, a community, right? Shared by all. It is about what we have in common, but it is not singular. There can be things that we do not share, things that differentiate us. So by definition, it seems to be much more inclusive as a concept. We have common values, but we also accept and accommodate differences. Since the end of the Cold War, we've been dominated by the concept of universal values. Its advocates believe that when it comes to politics, economics, society, or even morality, there's only one set of values to adhere to, namely liberal values. Okay, we all know what they are. I would argue that this idea that there's only one way to do things or even to think things is the cause of many failures in our world today. Take politics, for example. I think it is clear that in today's world, we all want to be democratic. Democracy is a common value, if you would. Yet, there have been strong forces that have been pushing the world to accepting and implementing only one kind of democracy, liberal democracy, democracy based on liberal values. If you look at all these organizations that measure and rank countries to show how democratic they are, like the Freedom House, for instance, they rank everybody. They measure liberal procedures. Your people can be starving and miserable and have very low trust in political institutions, but if you follow liberal procedures, you're ranked higher. This is ridiculous, really. This has resulted in many developing countries, in particular, establishing political institutions that are ill-suited for their democratic development. Furthermore, the arrogance of those who advocate universal values have been ruining liberal democracy itself on their home turfs. Let me use this opportunity to put out one idea for discussion. Maybe we can move beyond this universal idea about how to realize democratic politics and think about it based on common values instead. Perhaps we can begin to measure democracy based on outcome, not on procedure. Are your people generally satisfied? Do they trust their political institutions? Are their lives getting better? Do they feel secure? Democratic outcomes are what we can all share in common. What kind of procedures and institutions we use to achieve democratic governance can and should differ based on different cultures and circumstances and values. So my final commercial for common values is this. It is by definition more interesting because it accommodates differences. Who would want a world in which there is only one way? Universal values is boring. It's time to move on.